Hey guys, happy November. I'm really excited to share my project pan update for the month. This is where I try to either use up or hit pan on my products, and it's a great way to just, focus on appreciating the products that we already own as opposed to, what's the next new thing we can bring into our lives. So that is really what this is all about. If you're new, last month I introduced a new set of products, or really some new products. I also kept a lot of the same products from my Q3 project pan because a lot of these are just things that I really want to finish by the end of this year, and that is coming up very quickly. But I'm feeling really good about most of these products. Actually, I do think most of them I'm on track to finish by the end of 2023. There's a couple that I'm not so sure about, but let's just go ahead and get into my updates. So starting with I've been using these two things together a ton, so I'm really glad that I ended up having them both in my project pan at the same time, because I've been wearing this combo just about every single day that I wear my makeup, including today. First up, we have the e.l.f. Jelly Pop Primer. You can see I am really getting close to the end here. There's really not a whole lot left. At this point, we have exactly 2 months left of the year. I'm kind of thinking it'll take me until the very end of the year to finish this now. But also, we're kind of getting into the time of year where I do wear makeup more days than not. Lately, for the past few months, I feel like I've been wearing makeup probably like 3 to 4 days a week, but we're coming up on Vlogmas season, which means I'm going to be wearing makeup probably, if not every day, most days of the week, because I'm going to be filming a ton. So maybe I will actually finish some of these things faster now that I'm just wearing more makeup. So then this foundation, I feel like I wore this so much. I mean, I think I probably wore both of these about the same amount because I pretty much always wear them together. But this is the Urban Decay Stay Naked Hydromaniac Foundation. Even though I use this a ton, I feel like I use this more in October than any past month that I've had this in my project pan. I still basically made the same amount of progress that I've made every single month that I've had this in my project pan. Yeah, it's so funny. I feel like every month it just barely moves. This is like a never-ending tube of foundation, I swear, but I definitely think I'm getting near the end. Like, I'm really having to squeeze and bend the tube to get product out. So even though it looks like there's still a lot in here, I really don't think there's much. So if it's not done by my next update, definitely by the end of the year, I do think I will have this finished. This year, I also really want to hit pan on this Athr Beauty highlighter in Pink Diamond Dust. I still haven't hit pan. I do feel like this month I didn't use this as much. Honestly, I just wasn't wearing highlighter as much this month. And when I was often reaching for my NYX Wonder Stick cream highlighter, which is very unlike me. Usually I don't wear much cream highlighter, but I've kind of gotten back into it with this product. And this is a very intense highlighter. A lot of days I was just going for something a little bit more subtle, so wasn't reaching for this quite as much in October, but I do think now, like, we're getting into, why am I holding it backwards? But with the holidays, I definitely get a lot more into really sparkly, glam looks, so I definitely think this will still have a place in my makeup routine. I think the key to hitting pan on this is probably going to be to use it as an eyeshadow. I do that occasionally, like as an inner corner highlight. I would like to also try it just all over the lid at some point and, just experiment with different ways to use this, because I'm kind of thinking if I want to hit pan on this by the end of the year, I'm gonna have to start getting creative with how I use it, because even when I do use it as highlighter, I'm really using so little product. So that's how it's going. The dip in here is really big, but I've also heard from some of you that this is just a really deep pan, so it might take a while, but we're making some progress on this, even if it doesn't look like it. Then I have the Anastasia Dip Brow Pomade in the shade Taupe. So I kind of feel like this doesn't look like it changed much from last month, but I have hit side pan over here, as you can see. Definitely not going to be finishing this in 2023, that's for sure. Maybe 2024 will be the year, but this is getting quite old. Still works great. I have it in my brows right now, and it's, as long as it still works, I'm going to keep using it and hopefully finish it one day. These next few makeup products, I wasn't really expecting to make much progress on them at all this month, but I actually made more progress than I thought, so I'm happy about that. So here I have the CoverGirl Exhibitionist 24-Hour Kohl Eyeliner in the shade Black. I really feel like I only used this a handful of times in October. I mainly use it to tightline, which is what I did today, my upper lash line. I don't know if I sharpened this at all in October, but I did still manage to make a pretty decent chunk of progress, especially compared to previous months. I think I made like twice as much progress as I did last month, so that's good to see. So, we'll see how much I can finish up this year. Another great way to use black pencil liners is actually like as an eyeshadow base, especially underneath duochromes and multichromes. And I have been kind of into like deeper, more sultry looks lately, so that's another way that I might try and finish up more of this. I also didn't feel like I used either of these two lip products very much in October, but I still, again, managed to make a little, a little sliver of progress on both. So first up, I have the BK Beauty Everlast Lip Liner in Warm Spice. I'm actually wearing this today as well. This is one of those lower priority items that I'm not really in a hurry to finish. In fact, I've already finished a lot of lip pencils this year, so if I don't finish this year, that is completely fine with me. This is how much I have left, and actually my goal was to finish up half of what I had left when I started panning this, so that's where this goal arrow is pointing to. So that's about where I'm aiming to get to by the end of this year. So I do have a ways to go if I want to get to my goal spot on this. But at the same time, even though I didn't use up very much of this in the last 2 months, I don't think that's an unreasonable amount of lip pencil to use up in 2 months. I would just have to use it a lot more often. So that's where we are on that. Okay, now the Burt's Bees Lip Crayon in Santorini Sunrise. I know I keep thinking this is going to be the month I finish it. This is going to be the month I finish it. And then here it is. We still haven't finished it. But I actually do have an excuse this time. So I have recently developed an allergy to certain lip products, and I've been trying to pinpoint what the ingredient is. And I think I've finally figured out it's castor oil. It started with the Paula's Choice lip, well, it actually has, I actually think this has probably been developing for a long time, because for as long as I can remember, certain lip products, chapsticks, things like that, will tickle the back of my throat. And I never really thought much of it because it always felt like such a mild thing that it didn't even necessarily feel like an allergy. And I was describing this about a lip gloss, I think earlier this year. I think it was a lip gloss in my project pan, the Nude by Nature. I was noticing that that particular lip gloss was causing that problem, and I mentioned it in the video, and some of you guys were like, that sounds like an allergy. I don't know why I never thought of that, but I ended up decluttering that lip gloss. But then recently I started noticing this with more products that I never had that problem with before, including my favorite lip balm of all time, the Paula's Choice Lip and Body Treatment Balm. I put this on like I always do, and I started having a coughing fit, which is kind of similar to what's also started happening to me with fragrances. I put this on like I always do, and I started not only feeling like the tickle in my throat, but I had a coughing fit, like a complete coughing fit, couldn't stop coughing until I wiped this off, and then it stopped. And I'm so upset because this has been my, you guys know this has been my holy grail lip balm for years and years. Same thing also started happening with the Say lip oil, which I really loved this for the first couple weeks that I was using it, but now I've started reacting to this as well. I also started noticing a slight tickle with the Burt's Bees lip crayon. So I started comparing the ingredients list of all of these things, and it seems like the common ingredient is castor seed oil, which is in a lot of lip products, unfortunately, but all of these have castor seed oil as like the first ingredient. The Paula's Choice lip balm also has lanolin, which I know is a common allergen, but these other two don't. So the common denominator really seems to be castor oil for me. I was looking online, and like on Reddit, there were some people talking about having a castor oil allergy in lip products specifically, and they were describing a really similar reaction. And it's funny because I also use a lash serum from The Ordinary that has castor oil in it, and it doesn't cause me any reaction on my eyes. So it seems to be very specifically like when I ingest castor oil, that's when I'm allergic to it. So all of that to say, I've stopped using this Burt's Bees lip crayon on my lips, but I'm still able to use it as a blush with no issue. It doesn't break me out, doesn't cause any sort of allergic reaction, so I've still been using it that way, and honestly I'm just so close to finishing this that I don't want to give up now. So I'm planning on continuing to use this just as a blush, but not on the lips. So that was a very long story, but I've been kind of avoiding this problem because I really don't want to face the fact that so many of my lip products have castor oil. So yeah, I'm really bummed. It's also really hard to find lip products that don't have castor oil, especially lip balms. But in case you also happen to have the same problem, the one I've really been loving now is the Nomad Air lip balm, the new one that they recently came out with in the Nomad Air collection. That one doesn't have castor oil, also doesn't have lanolin, and it really does work. Like, it keeps my lips nice and soft. So that's been my go-to. Anyway, that's my excuse as to why I still haven't used up this Burt's Bees lip crayon, but I am wearing it on my cheeks right now. It does make a really pretty blush, and I really just want to finish this. Hopefully next month I can have this done. I guess I forgot to say this at the beginning. Normally I say at the beginning how many empties, how many new roll-ins I have. I did finish one product this month, and it was the Dear Claire's All Day Airy Sunscreen. I've added a few skincare products to this project pan because I just have a lot of, especially sunscreen, sitting around that I really want to finish up. And this one I actually just started panning it last month. This is where I started, and as you can see, it is now completely empty. I cut it open just this morning and used up the last of it, so that feels really good. This was pretty much the only sunscreen I wore in October. I pretty much wore this every single day. Really enjoyed it. This is a lovely formula. A little bit glowy, moisturizing, but also not heavy whatsoever. I did like a full review and demo on this along with a bunch of other K-Beauty sunscreens a few months ago, so I'll link that video below if you're interested, but this one is finished, so that feels really good. Now, the other sunscreen that I put in here last month, I don't think I used this at all, unfortunately. This is the Rovectin Anti-Irritant UV Defense Tinted SPF 50 sunscreen. This is about where we were last month, and I'm pretty sure I used this like maybe one time in October, but not really much outside of that because, like I said, I was really only reaching for the Dear Klairs one. I think the reason for that, though, is because this is a matte tinted sunscreen, and I haven't really been in the mood for matte sunscreens lately, but I am going to go ahead and keep this in the project pan because this does actually say it expires at the end of this year, December 2023. So I don't have much time left to finish this, and I would like to try to finish it. Like I said, I think I was just more in the mood for a more glowy sunscreen this past month, but I do really enjoy the look of matte skin in the fall and winter. I know that sounds counterintuitive, but I really like the way that complements a lot of the more like dramatic looks that I do this time of year. So I think this might have a place in my routine still. I'm gonna try. If I don't end up using it at all in November, then I may just go ahead and declutter it. But I have decided to replace the Dear Klairs sunscreen with another sunscreen that I'll share at the end, which is in just a moment. But first I want to go ahead and give you a quick update on the last product here, which is the Versed The Fix Emergency Eye Mask. So this was another product that I really was just sick of seeing, and I wanted to finish it up before the end of this year. First of all, for an eye cream, this is huge. It comes with an entire ounce of product. Most eye creams are like half an ounce, so it takes a while to go through this if you're using it as only an eye cream. So I've started using it. I still use it as an eye cream, but I've also started using it on my neck and the back of my hands because those are two areas that I'm really trying to get in the habit of moisturizing at night. But I used it a ton this past month. As you can see, I made a really good chunk of progress there. So I'm definitely on track to have this finished by the end of the year for sure. Honestly, I'm thinking just one more month and this will be done. So that feels good. I'm excited to have this finished because they don't even sell this product anymore. So it's, you know, kind of old and it just needs to go. So I am going to be rolling in another sunscreen to replace the Dear Klairs one. This one is more of a moisturizing formula, but it's not, I don't think it's quite as glowy as the Dear Klairs sunscreen. This is the CosRx Aloe Soothing Sun Cream with SPF 50+. I have a list on my phone of all my sunscreens that I currently have open along with their expiration date so that I can just kind of use them up in that order. Well, actually, I do have another matte sunscreen that expires before this, but I don't want to have two matte sunscreens in my project at a time. So this is the next non-matte sunscreen on my list. And I like this sunscreen. It's not an all-time favorite. Sometimes I do get pilling with this, so whenever I use this, it kind of has to be the only skincare product on my face. In some ways that's annoying, but in other ways that's kind of nice because it forces me to just simplify my routine and saves me time in the long run, so I don't necessarily mind it. Actually starting with just about the same amount of this as I started with the Dear Klairs sunscreen, so this is where I've marked it. And like I said, I mean, I know that looks like a lot, but if I use this every day for a month, I'll finish it in a month. As you can see, that's about exactly where I marked the Dear Klairs sunscreen. Actually, the Dear Klairs one comes with a little bit more product. This is 1.76 ounces, this is 1.69 ounces. So hopefully I won't end up using this one every day of the month though, because I would like to also use the Rovectin one and really prioritize this one. So I'm going to try to have the Rovectin one be my go-to for the month. And I do think, like, if these are the only two sunscreens I focus on for the rest of this year, I think I can have both of them finished by the end of the year. So we'll see how I do. But that is my Project Pan update and also my lip allergy update. Let me know if any of you have a castor oil lip allergy as well, and what are your favorite lip products? But yeah, we are in the final stretch of the year, so I'd love to hear down below how your project pans are going. And otherwise, thank you guys so much for hanging out with me today. I hope you had fun. If you did, be sure to give the video a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already. I do also have a Patreon and a channel membership if you're interested in supporting my channel further. My patrons get early access to my project pan updates and bonus videos, bonus live streams, all that good stuff. So would love to see you over there. Otherwise, I hope you have an amazing rest of your day, and I will talk to you again very soon in my next video. Bye.